la cebolla, pícale la cebolla y métela la olla.
Hi there. My name is Maga. I'm a recent graduate of UC Santa Cruz in Feminist Studies and Community Studies. I was born and raised here in the east side of LA, and currently a lot of my projects are revolving around decolonizing food systems, Chicana feminisms, and community organizing against displacement. In fact, I belong to a collective called Puentes y Fuentes that has a radio show right here out of Radio Sombra in Boyle Heights. So my story about decolonizing food systems starts sometime in the fall of 2012. I was organizing a bike ride with the Ovarian Psychos. It was called Thanks-Taking. And I started to do all this research for myself about decolonizing food systems. I was really fascinated by the stuff that I learned, and I wanted to share with riders. So I decided to design a workshop called Decolonize Your Diet. It's heavily influenced by the work of Luz Calvo and Catalina Rueda Esquivel, who actually just published their first book called Decolonize Your Diet. I'll return to that in a second. It was also influenced by the work of Michael Pollan, the Fallen Fruit Project, and various food justice and just tasty decolonial food and plant-based activists and scholars. So I have a photo that I can show you later, but that day riders went home with a bag full of produce that included nopales, limones, naranjas, and hopefully a seed was planted in them about food justice and decolonizing food systems. For me, food justice and decolonizing food systems is about healthy ecologies, healthy communities, and healthy people. So since that ride, since 2012, these are things that I've been really enthusiastic about. And together with a collective of people, sometime around 2012, I helped establish Comida No Bombas, which is a group of people that rides around cooking vegan, vegetarian burritos, using produce that would otherwise be thrown out, either by LA farmers markets, grocery stores, and local tortillerias. I've done the workshop on decolonizing your diet with youth at YMCA and Salesian Boys and Girls Club, as well as Roosevelt High School. I start that workshop by asking students to make a Venn diagram. So on one side of the Venn diagram, it's what they eat on a regular basis. A lot of the times I get students saying hot Cheetos, soda, etc., etc. And then I have them on the other side of the Venn diagram write things that their grandparents would eat in their diets. It's always beans, rice, nopales, mariscos, etc., etc. And then I have them think about that overlapping space, that in-between space. What does it mean that we're so disconnected and yet still connected to our ancestral and grandparents' knowledge and food systems? And then I show them typically the Latino birth weight paradox, which I'll also get into in a second. But most of all, I usually try to make smoothies with them, have a lot of fun, and instill in them the confidence about their heritage and their cooking abilities, which I was lucky enough to have. I currently am also really interested in traditional herbalism and the idea of food as medicine, as well as change on a policy and structural level, such as getting food stamps and access to farmers markets for the people who need them the most. In particular, women and women of color and immigrant, first-generation Latina immigrant women. So, with no formal education in cooking, I like to think that my food is tasty and it tastes good, and that I have what we call sazon. It's that grandmother and tia knowledge. I grew up around my tia's kitchen as a girl. It's in our culture. I would go into the kitchen because I was like, my place, but I learned to love it, and I love tia flavors. You can ask any of the people that have come to my various potlucks that I've hosted in the East Side, my East Side veggie potlucks, which are supposed to be going to be a regular thing at my house. At the last potluck, I cooked tacos de papa with chorizo. I pickled some carrots, and I made some homemade salsa verde. I also made turmeric limeade that I made from harvested lemons at my house. This happened like a few days ago. And lastly, I guess the reason why I'm super interested in this project and taking it to the next level at a community level is that my mama and her 12 siblings all have diabetes. And it's an epidemic in our communities and something that frightens me all the time. And it was interesting. One of the most powerful things that I learned early on when I started doing this research was about the Latino birth weight paradox, or otherwise known sometimes as the Latino paradox. It states that recent Mesoamerican immigrants tend to be some of the healthiest people in the U.S. And they fare better, as well, if not better, than upper class white people in the United States. So we can assume that a big difference is a result of our diets. And I truly believe, as Luz Calvo and Catalina Rueda Esquivel very well put it, that as Chicanas, it's our responsibility and our obligation to do everything we can to reverse the effects of our health problems in our community and among our gente. And I really believe that spaces like Vegan Moni, Comida No Bombas, Proyecto Jardín, which is up the street, and I like to think myself as being part of this larger movement of Chicanas to kind of reverse some of those effects. When it comes to pregnancy, when it comes to obesity, when it comes to diabetes, etc., our diets have everything to do with it. And that's why I'm making this video and hope to be considered.